what is Christianity's place among like politics, like particularly among like same-sex marriage? Like, I seem to notice like a lot of sermons and all are getting political these days, and I'm wondering, because I feel like politics is imperfect. I don't know.
Sure, it's imperfect because politics is the choice between a known witch and a suspected devil. But let me just ask you a question. Since we're on politics, a lot of Christians say this. You can go too far either way, right? You can be totally into politics and think it's a savior for everything. It's not. Or you can go so far the other way that, politics is irrelevant. We just got to preach the gospel if you're a Christian. Let me just put up one picture here to disabuse anybody of the notion that we ought not be involved at all politically, and here it is. Does anyone know what this is?
Korea.
Yeah, this is the Korean Peninsula, right? Here's the, 38th parallel right there? We fought a war over that. This is South Korea. South Korea is filled with light, productivity, the gospel. It's one of the most Christianized countries in the world, although not everyone's a Christian, obviously. North Korea, on the other hand, is a concentration camp. What is the main reason for the difference? And don't say electricity, okay? What is the main reason for the difference between the state of the North and the state of the South? One word, politics, right? The South has freedom, the North does not. And for people who say we ought not be involved politically, we just ought to preach the gospel, I always say, guess what? Your ability to preach the gospel legally is based on politics. And if you don't, why can we meet in this room right here, right now? Because we have freedom of religion. One day, however, we might not have it anymore. And then we got to go underground. Now, can God get his will done through that? Yeah, but why would we want that to be that way? Right? In fact, if you think about this long enough, you'll realize that laws affect virtually everything. Your freedom, your church, your children, your family, your health, your money, your business, your property, your school, your home, your security, your safety, the poor, the unborn, the gospel. Everyone and everything is affected by laws that are made in Austin, in Washington, and in your localities. So of course you got to be involved politically. I think everybody ought to be involved. Atheist, Christian, everyone in between.
So I have a question. Does that mean that as a church we should agree on certain viewpoints, or can there be dissension?
Well, of course there can be dissension. I think that if it's hard for me to believe that someone is a Christian and yet disagrees with Jesus, right? I mean, there are some things that are clear. Like, I know this is controversial, but it shouldn't be. In the church, if you truly believe the Bible's true, what did Jesus say marriage was? Between a man and a woman, Matthew 19. Of course, the great commandment, thou shalt not murder, abortion. And you know what Christians really have a problem with? The divorce rate. Our divorce rate is very high. Here we are pointing at all the homosexuals and saying, yeah, you guys are bad. Yeah. What about us? We're doing the same kind of stuff. We're not obeying the scriptures either. Now, that doesn't mean that if you're not obeying the scriptures, you can't point out that other people have done wrong. That's true. They may have done wrong. But we had to get our own house in order too. Because the biggest disaster we can have in society is to destroy the biological two-parent family. If you destroy the biological two-parent family, then all of society goes down with it. And it wasn't started by homosexuals. It was started by the sexual revolution, which gave us no-fault divorce laws, which have led now to kids being born out of wedlock, kids being abandoned by their parents, because now marriage is just about feelings and it's not about commitment or children anymore. That's a disaster. In fact, I submit to you that probably half the people in this room, if not more, have been scarred by no-fault divorce. Scarred. True? Yeah. And the church is to blame. So, yeah, we got to get our own house in order. But that doesn't mean we give up on these other issues. We should be involved and just leave the results to God. By the way, it's not our job to win any political debate. We can't do that anyway. Our job is to be faithful and leave the results to God.
So the church should discuss things.
Oh, I think so. Absolutely. Why not? You know how our country began? Church people. That's how it began. Pastors, actually, were an integral part of the revolution.